Yes, yes, yes. Welcome to the second installment of the podcast. It's your boy Frankie, and I'm back with another one. As you can see, we're now able to afford intro and outro music, so I'm pretty proud of myself. We're doing big things on this side. But in reality, actually, I made those myself. I got this program, FL Studios, recently, and I've been kind of messing around with that. So let me know if you like it. I'd actually would appreciate the input on how the tracks are sounding, because I would like to make some better stuff down the line. Anyways, just to give you a little update, this podcast was originally supposed to be about James Dolan and how he's the worst human being on earth and how he takes candies from babies and he's a monster. But during that recording, I had a little bit of technical difficulties and it didn't record like half of it, and the raw emotion and passion that was in that 50-minute window was too much for me to try to recreate again. It's not going to be there. The jokes are going to be stale to me. So if I can't give out the best possible product, then I don't want to do it. So I decided to scrap that idea, make something new. I'm kind of just going to go over different topics that happened throughout this week that I wanted to talk about, sports and non-sports alike. But yeah, man, I had a little update on my personal life. I just been really just working out, trying to keep myself busy. I've been reading a lot more. I'm almost done with this Trevor Noah book, Born a Crime. Really, really good book. I might give an in-depth review when the time comes, aka when I'm done with the book. But other than that, just staying out of trouble, staying busy, and doing my thing. Today I was actually thinking of Kobe a lot because throughout the week and a half or so that I've sort of been recording and editing stuff for the podcast, I've really fallen in love with this new creative process that I found to do certain things. I've never really done anything like this. Usually when I talk about things that I like, I'm with my friends and I'm kind of just going off the cuff. I've never had to organize things that I'm going to talk about and stuff like that, but I'm really loving the direction that this is taking me. I feel like this responsibility is something that I needed for my life to sort of put me on some sort of track, because I felt like I was stagnating and everything was becoming a little unbearable. But yeah, so I thought of Kobe because Kobe, he wasn't just a basketball player, he was really a creator. You don't win Oscars right after you're done playing basketball if you're not a creator. And he loved to create on the court. He loved to create mismatches. He loved to create himself open shots. There was nothing that he didn't think that he could do. And while he was playing, I never really appreciate that. One, because I was too young. And second of all, because, yeah, I knew that he was a great basketball player. I don't know about Kobe Bryant, the person. And Kobe Bryant, the person, is a very interesting being. He wasn't perfect by any means. I mean, he wasn't even a perfect basketball player. But the way that he just approached everything and the way that he dedicated himself to the craft is something that I did not understand when I was a kid, because A, I was a kid, and second, again, the internet isn't what it is today. You don't get to see the pictures of this guy up at 5 in the morning, you know what I'm saying, in a gym somewhere, getting shots up. You don't hear those stories from the people who've witnessed them, you know? Now, with the age of social media and everybody always has a camera, it's interesting that we got to see sort of a side of a person that we never really get to see, because usually with athletes, we just think of them as people who are on the court and they do great things on the court. But Kobe made me realize that it all starts off the court, how you approach every situation. And the Mamba mentality, I always thought they called him the Black Mamba because, he was deadly in the clutch, which he was. But the reason why he made it a mentality was because everything that he approached with the intent to kill. I really admire that, man. I don't know, I'm feeling a little nostalgic. there's been a lot of videos of him popping up on my feed lately of him just talking about the game, and you could tell that he loved it because he spoke with such a great passion about it. I can't think of anything better than when you love something and you speak about it, and you speak about it in such detail that it imparts knowledge that you could use even outside of that particular field. Like I said, everybody could use the mentality that he has, which is to approach everything on a level that you know you're putting your best effort out there, because if you're not, you're wasting your time. And that's kind of how I'm going to approach this whole podcast thing, man. I'm going to be your content creator's favorite content creator. And I truly believe that, because I truly do believe that I can be great at this, and I do have the pieces. I just have to put it together. But anyway, enough about the nostalgic stuff. Let's get right into it. I actually wanted to talk about the new Young Thug album that dropped. Slime Language 2 with his whole record label. I mean, Young Thug did his job, bro. Young Thug is a guy, he's very mercurial. He is mysterious and kind of fleeting. It sort of seems like whenever he drops something, it's like, oh my god, Young Thug drops something, especially like a full-length project. But yeah, man, he became Coach Calipari. He became a great recruiter because he basically assembled the dream team on this album, man. Some of the features, he had Big Sean, Drake, Little Baby, Rowdy Rebel, Young Blue, Kid Cudi, Travis Scott. He had almost everybody and their mama that you could think of, and everybody did their part, man. Like I said, 92 basketball dream team. That's who they were, man. Everybody was floating on this album. I haven't listened to it yet in headphones, which means that I'm not going to have a lot of the finer aspects of like what I like about certain instrumentals, because I can't really hear all the 808s, all the synths and all that stuff. But man, when I tell you that some of these songs, like, yo, the song with Roddy Rebel, I think it's Came and Saw, that song, the trumpets that he has in the background playing, oh my god, they just make the track feel like this victorious, like, coming of, like, this victorious welcome home to, like, a king. And it's fitting because Rowdy Rebel comes in and absolutely kills his verse. Like, he absolutely murdered his verse. In a song with Young Thug, Rowdy Rebel definitely took it home, because his verse was amazing. From start to finish, everything that he said on that track was perfect. One complaint I do have about this album, though, which is probably the only one, a lot of the people in Young Thug's label, Young Stoner Life, sound kind of like Young Thug, but with like a different voice inflection. I forgot the dude's name. Hold up, let me look it up, actually. What is this guy's name? Because this guy sounds like Young Thug if he were like Oscar the Grouch, and I find that hilarious. Yak Gotti, that dude sounds just like Young Thug if, again, he had this weird like Cookie Monster voice. Little Baby had a fire feature too. He just floats on the track. It's proven that him and Gunna are probably the two best young rappers out right now. Anything they touch is gold, man. The way that they're able to hop in and out of any instrumental and just float and make you feel the ultimate vibe. Like, they really took the blueprint from Thug and just kind of ran with it, and I really, really appreciate that. My favorite songs on this, the Kid Cudi song, the feature with Big Sean, that Future song was a banger. The Drake song, obviously, because I'm a huge Drake fan. But honestly, probably my favorite song up until right now is definitely the Rowdy Rebel song. I mean, maybe with a few listens I might change my mind, but right now, that is definitely the track that is on heavy repeat on the playlist, because them trumpets, bro, just make the song hit different. I can't say enough about Kid Cudi, bro, because Kid Cudi is really a revolutionary in this game, and I feel like people don't give him his flowers enough. Like, yo, Kid Cudi was the start of a motherfucking movement, and that's the sad boy rap. Like, bro, when Kid Cudi is humming on a track and he's speaking that sad shit, that's when he's at his best, and on this feature, he takes full advantage of that, bro. his moans in your ear while you're listening with headphones. That's the only song I've listened to with headphones, by the way, just because I wanted to get a deeper understanding of just Kid Cudi's part. But yeah, the reverb that he uses, the way that he just puts it all together, man, just an absolute tour de force in that track. Travis don't miss. Travis and Thug, that's like peanut butter and jelly, man. Skippy and Smuckers. There's nothing better than a good Travis Scott and Young Thug feature. The Drake track, honestly, another one. You know, the streets are saying that Drake had a mid verse. Bro, that was just a taste. I feel like they sprinkled in enough of Drake because I feel like sometimes Drake can be overbearing in a track, especially as a feature. And I think that Young Thug gonna do the right thing by not letting him take up too much of the track. He had like he fielded a little verse and like a little chorus, little hook there. Not really even a hook, more like a bridge. But he just, again, bro, not every rapper, just because Drake can rap doesn't mean that he has to get on every track and spit that lyrical, miracle, spiritual stuff. Bro, my man can just get on there and float, bro. And that's what Drake does, bro. Drake has really mastered, like, the new wave of just getting in these tracks and hitting these little melodic pockets just little by little and just floating on the track and giving you this sort of airy, atmospheric, like, background music that's like just incredible. Because when Drake wants to rap and be a rapper, a rapping ass rapper, as Charlemagne calls him, he can be. But sometimes it's not what I need from Drake. Sometimes I need this, and this is a vibe, and I like it a lot. Oh, shout out to Jersey, by the way. Shout out to Coy Leray. What? Shout out to who I found out recently was Benzino's daughter, and therefore I have beef with her because I was a big 50 Cent and Slim Shady fan, and we don't fuck with Benzino, Murder Inc., or any of those guys because they're trash. She had a spectacular verse. I'd really like to see her come up, man. I remember she used to pop up on my Instagram stories because I follow a lot of guys who do hair, and she'd always pop up on the stories, somebody showing like the braids that they did, or when they curl their hair. And I was like, yo, who is this girl? I listened to a few tracks. I never actually, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, I'm a huge Coi Leray fan, but I do think that she definitely has a lot of talent. That Big Purr song is a banger. She has like another song, a little snippet floating out there where she kind of sounds like Cardi, but it's fire. And in this song, in this project, she also did Disappoint. Young Blue, another fire verse. Big Sean feature. Everybody just had 5 verses on this, bro. Like, if you came here as a guest feature, bro, you literally came in, they dropped 40 and then went back in the cut. Like, it was incredible. Like, everything just flows with one after the other. I'm not too high on the tracks with just some of Young Thug's artists, even though I do feel like they do have their moments. Again, this other kid, what is his name? Strick. He had a fire collab with Cudi. I thought that he did a lot of good on that track. Like, I didn't feel like he got outshined by Cudi, which is what I feel about some of these tracks when they have a big name and some of these, like, lesser known artists are on there. I feel like the other rappers with more talent sort of take away from the whole song and you just kind of want to listen to their verse. But Strict held his own with Kid Cudi, so I give him props for that. This album really made me realize how much I'm waiting for Certified Lover Boy. I haven't been this excited for a Drake project in a while because even his last project, Scorpion, like his last commercial release project, like the one where he's gonna, because again, man, Certified Lover Boy is in Dark Lane's demo tape, like he's just not gonna drop it. Like, there's a lot of planning. This is like the stuff that Universal Records is looking to make money from, not some just throwaway thing. Like, this is the stuff that he's going to be sitting on Letterman. He's going to be on every talk show trying to promote this album. Like, this is stuff that's got to do $1 million first week. Well, maybe not $1 million, but he's got to do over 500,000 first week because he is Drake. But I'm really excited for it because even though Scorpion was okay, I felt like it had its problems. Like, Scorpion had the bangers, don't get me wrong. In My Feelings, God's Plan, I'm Upset, Mob Ties. But like I feel like I haven't gone back and listened to that album consistently enough. Like the replay value isn't there as like a full length like project. Because like sometimes you want to sit back, relax, and listen to like a whole album from start to finish. I find myself going back to like stuff like Nothing Was the Same. Hell, I even go back to Views a lot, even though I like Views on like a lot of people. But yeah, I find myself going back to Views a lot more. What's the name of the collab album with Future? Damn, why is it fleeting my memory? I should know this like the back of my hand. Wow, I'm really having a mind blank right here. I'll be right back. Let me go look up what the name of this album is. Oh, What a Time to Be Alive. It popped right back in my head as I opened the music page. So, basically, I've been listening to those albums a lot more than I listened to, like I said, Scorpion. So, I'm really excited for this project because I really think that Drake could sort of do something here to cement his legacy a little more. Like he's already one of the greatest. His run is unprecedented, especially in this digital like age. Like Drake is by far the greatest artist of the digital streaming age. Like everything he does people want to listen to, but we all know that sort of the quantity doesn't always equal quality. So like I said, the last album I feel like I had a few shortcomings, like 20 songs or 25 songs was a little too much for a Drake project, especially when the songs, all of them weren't hitting. Like, if you're trying to keep my attention for over an hour, your content better be fire. And I did feel like Drake missed them some of those. Like, the first half of the album, I feel like if you cut a few tracks from the first half, the side A, and a few tracks from side B, and honestly, you would have cut it down to a 12 to 15 song album, I feel like that would have been way better, and I feel like it would have been received, better, and it would have been more critically acclaimed, because even till this day, like, I know that Drake has the line of, come with a classic, years later, they're saying it's a sleeper. Scorpion isn't a sleeper, man. Scorpion is a really, like I said, just kind of like this project that it's like, oh yeah, Drake dropped that. It's not, like, regarded as high in esteem as, like, What a Time to Be Alive, Views, More Life. Even More Life, honestly, to me was better than that. So I'm really excited because I really liked what I saw from the Dark Lanes demo tape. That song, Losses, was fantastic. The song with Cardi, Pierre did his thing on that beat. Like, just all these things that I'm really, really excited for in the future of Drake's discography. Like, I feel like, again, this is his moment to sort of kind of put a stamp on it right now. Drake is basically LeBron in the sense of he can't really damage anymore his legacy, regardless of what you feel about the whole ghostwriting thing. His legacy is set in stone. Like I said, one of the greatest to ever grace hip-hop. But I do feel like the guy can add to it. Basically, he is right now playing in Los Angeles. He just got Anthony Davis, and he's competing for that fourth ring. Like, that is what Drake is doing. Like, at this point, again, he's adding to his legacy, trying to become even greater, because the facts are in, bro. He's absolutely tremendous. Let's talk about some basketball now. LaMarcus Aldridge recently retired, so shout out to him. If you were on the Nets bandwagon, I hope that you get off of it now, because I remember when LaMarcus Aldridge signed, everybody was like, oh, they're too OP, and it's like, man, LaMarcus Aldridge, if the reason you think the Brooklyn Nets are winning the championship is LaMarcus Aldridge, you don't know anything about basketball, because regardless of whether you have him there or not, he doesn't fix their problems with his defense. They already have enough offense with KD, Harden, and Irving. Like, they don't need the 13 to 15 points that he would have given them a game. Like, they don't need that. The Nets don't need that. So get off the bandwagon. I hope you do, and you tell me if they're not winning a championship because they lost LaMarcus Aldridge. Like, you can't have it both ways. But yeah, shout out to him, man. Time is so unforgiving and moves on so fast that a lot of people forget, man. LaMarcus Aldridge was a force when he was in Portland, and he was like in his prime. like right before he got to San Antonio, he was basically a 25-9 guy. Like the guy was just an absolute sniper from the mid range. The post up game was immaculate. Like he could really, really take you anywhere in the post, shimmy on you, and drop the smooth bucket. Like when he got hot from that little elbow, bro, it was over. He was very Dirk-like. Like he was a very, very good shooter. He wasn't a 3-point shooter, but in terms of the mid-range, man, he had it on lock. Like he was so good that when he went to San Antonio, on at the start of the 2015-2016 season when the Cavs came back down 3-1. And before the Warriors shattered the record for most wins in a season, the favorites at the beginning of the year were actually the Spurs because they still had Tim Duncan, Manu, Tony Parker, Kawhi Leonard, and now they had added LaMarcus Aldridge. Like that was supposed to be the piece that put them over the top. It obviously didn't happen. But yeah, shout out to my man LaMarcus Aldridge. Maybe a Hall of Famer. Not first ballot, obviously, but maybe on a year where there aren't that many good candidates, you go ahead and, you put him in there. Because he's, I think, Portland's all-time leader in points. Somewhere all-time leader in rebounds. I think, like, in the top 5. So, yeah, the guy had a pretty decent career. A lot of all-stars. I think a few all-NBAs, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, maybe, the voters look at it and they're like, well, he had to retire earlier. Even though his best days of basketball were really much behind him. Like, it wasn't like this retirement was stopping this LaMarcus Aldridge, like, hype train. So, because of his retirement on Twitter, it kind of popped up as like, oh, what player in NBA history that had their careers derailed by injuries would you like to see? Had no injuries and see their career play out fully. And I thought it was an interesting topic. Everybody was picking D Rose, obviously, because he's the most recent one that you could think of like, yo, the last great guy that we saw. And, the knees went bad and he couldn't do it anymore. Was Derrick Rose, so I understand that. But to me, I actually have two guys, and none of them are D Rose, is Tracy McGrady and Brandon Roy, man. Tracy McGrady, bro. Tracy McGrady at like 21 years old was scoring 32 points in a game. Like that was his average during a season. Like he was a scoring leader in the NBA in a time where Kobe was playing, in a time where Allen Iverson was playing, Shaq was playing, like some of the elite scorers in this game. He was out here dropping buckets. And sadly, the injuries and stuff, he never even got out of the first round until like 1 year where he was riding the bench. But yeah, man, Tracy McGrady, I really wish we would have been able to see if he would have been able to live up to what he was touted when he was good, which was basically Kobe Bryant levels of great. Like, a lot of people don't understand that Kobe himself said the hardest guy for him to guard was Tracy McGrady because he was 6'9", but had all the guard skills. Like, Tracy McGrady could dribble. Tracy McGrady could shoot. Tracy McGrady could drive. He was super athletic. Like, he could do everything on the court, and it's just really sad that we never got to see the full 10-year, 15-year career span of maybe he wins an MVP, maybe he wins a championship. Like, his whole career is probably, to me, the biggest what if, because I know that he was going to be like, oh my God. Back to the other guy, Brandon Roy. Brandon Roy is another one, man. Brandon Roy was coming out of college. He kind of flew under the radar, and he ended up winning Rookie of the Year. He was picked, I think, 6th by Portland. And, he was another guy, a guy who could shoot, a guy who could create off the dribble, just your basic prototypical two-guard at that time. And he was on his way and ascending to not just becoming what he was already, an all-star, but like an all-NBA caliber type of player. So I wish that I would have been able to see that. Like, one of the best playoff moments I remember watching was in 2011, I think, or 2010. I can't remember the year, but it was against Dallas, and they had a playoff series. And Brandon Roy was already basically on his way out because his knees had no cartilage at all. Like, he basically had a deteriorating knee problem where he just basically couldn't play basketball at a high level anymore because he was always in pain. But when I tell you he came in the third quarter on his last leg and they came back down like 20 to tie the series to, bro, one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. Brandon Roy, anything he caught, he was just chucking it up there and he was making it, bro. That was absolutely legendary. Another topic I wanted to talk about in terms of basketball is actually Steph Curry, bro. Steph Curry's the GOAT. Like, the GOAT shooter. Steph Curry, man, he is so weird because the man just could shoot from so far away and he's so consistent with it. Yo, Steph Curry, if you look at the record book, Steph Curry's gonna shattered the most three-pointers ever made in a career by a wide margin. Maybe by like 1,000 field goals, which is insane to think. When you think the last guy, the guy who holds the record, Ray Allen, he had about either 3,000 or 2,800. I can't remember, but something like that, like really close to 3,000. And I think the Steph realistically could probably get up to like 3,500, maybe even 4,000, depending how long he plays. Like if Steph Curry has like a 20-year career and he just continues to shoot, he's definitely going to retire with, like I said, probably 4,000 three-pointers made. Not only that, if you look at the top 5 greatest shooting seasons, as in who made the most in a season, in the top 5, he takes up 3 spots. He takes up 1 with 402, which might be an unbreakable record, by the way. I stand on that. I think we'll never see that record broken ever again. Like, I don't even think Trae Young could go that nuclear to hit 402 threes in a season. But yeah, he owns number 1, number 3, and number 4. So basically, he's in the top 4. He owns 3 of the top 4 greatest shooting seasons in all of NBA history. And last week, during the Nuggets game, he had 41 at halftime, and I think he was like 17 of... Hold up, let me look up the stat line, because the stat line was ridiculous. The stat line was something I don't think I've ever seen before in terms of just efficiency. Hold up, let me look it up. It was against the Nuggets. He had some ridiculous. He had like 40. He had 41 points and like 10 threes by the end of the third quarter. They sat him down. They didn't let him get let him get the record. Also, I think he is he's second in most threes taken in a game. And back then the record was Kobe held the record at 12. And I used to think that was also unbreakable. I was like, yeah, nobody's going to be able to shoot make 12 three-pointers in a game. They have to take too many shots. Bro, Steph Curry has done that twice now. He's hit above 12, I think, twice. And then his buddy, the other greatest shooter of all time, Klay Thompson, hit 14. Like, these guys are just absolutely ridiculous. Like, Klay Thompson is supposed to be this sort of Human Torch cartoon in the new Space Jam movie. It's true. Because when they're on fire, bro, they're absolutely on fire. Steph Curry, here's a fun stat. Steph Curry has more 10 3-point games than anybody else in NBA history, but he's never taken more than 23s in a game. That is ridiculous. That means that every time he's made 10 or more threes, he shot over 50% from the three-point line. That is absolutely ridiculous levels of efficiency. And it's not like Steph Curry's spotting up and taking, a bunch of corner threes. Like, no, this dude is dribbling. This dude is taking half-court shots, step-backs, all that. The guy is just a mobile artillery unit the size of Chris Paul that you could put anywhere in any system. Like, there's no team in the NBA right now that wouldn't get better with Steph Curry. Like, there are some teams that if you take a certain superstar and you drop them off, they might not perform the same. Any team could use Steph Curry right now. Because everything that he does, bro, when you have to pay attention to a shooter of his caliber and you have to basically guard him when he crosses half court, that makes everybody else's job easier because you're going to be open. Because somebody's going to double team and you're going to be open and you're going to hit a shot. That's why the Golden State Warriors was so deadly, because when you surround Steph with a bunch of capable shooters and he either drives and kicks or he just stands somewhere and people just surround him, you're going to get a bunch of easy looks. That's why some of the best years that a lot of players have had, for example, KD, some of his best statistical years were with the Warriors. And it was because, again, yeah, we could pay attention to KD, but Steph Curry's out here taking 40-footers, so we got to guard him. But yeah, man, Steph Curry's amazing. And for the main topic of the day, I actually wanted to talk about something very near and dear to my heart, because I saw this little thing on Reddit and I found it interesting. Naruto, my favorite anime, maybe not of all time, but my favorite anime recently. Well, not even recently, because I've been watching it for like 12 years. But my favorite anime aside from Dragon Ball. There we go. That's how I should phrase it. It's actually, I didn't realize this last year because I wasn't paying attention to anything last year other than the existential dread of living during a pandemic. Naruto was the most watched anime of the decade in terms of like worldwide. I saw it on Reddit and I found it really, really interesting. I didn't think that Naruto had the pull worldwide. I knew that it had a lot of Western impact. Like, I knew that in the West, aka the United States, like, that was the anime that you grew up watching. Like, Naruto was it. Naruto was basically 90s kids Dragon Ball Z. Everything, man. You couldn't escape it. Everybody, till this day, bro, guys who are 24, 25 years old are going to quote some Naruto to you because it was just such a terrific show, man. The writing was spectacular. The ideas were spectacular. Man, who comes up with a show where the main character has a demon basically implanted in him because there was no other way to save the village in which he lived in? And he was a baby and his parents died. Like, this sad orphan just grows up with a demon inside of him, and everybody hates him, and you hate everybody for hating him, because this kid is such a lovable little knucklehead, man. Naruto, he is like what I want my kids to be like. Like, I just want my kids to be like, yeah, I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want, because I want to. Like, whenever he put his mind to something, he was gonna do it, bro. Let me tell you something. In the first episode, the first thing my man did, he failed the graduation exam to become a ninja, and he spent hours trying to master the jutsu that he failed. The jutsu is the technique, by the way, for those of you who are not very well versed in Naruto. And yo, my man spent the entire afternoon and night training and mastered that jutsu and literally was able to make thousands of clones of himself. One of the greatest, like I said, bro, just I can't really describe it and really make you feel it because I feel like you have to watch this. Like, all the emotion that show brings out of you, like that show in the first episode, depending how you are with emotion, you could cry because it's just so full of heart and so full of emotion, and it has so many great lessons that we can impart unto others. Like, don't judge somebody because of what you've heard or what you think they are. Take a chance to get to know somebody. Also, the consequences of isolating somebody and mistreating them and what that causes the psyche. Like, the whole show, again, just has many lessons. The biggest one to me, though, being that at the end of the day, we're all human and we all should be empathetic towards one another and try to understand each other, regardless of what our differences are. But that's too much idealism, and we're never going to be able to achieve that in our lifetime. But it's nice to see on TV, man. Especially when guys are out there fighting and, you know, hitting each other with lightning and fire and all that good stuff. Aside from the writing, it also has some great character designs, man. Like, Kishimoto's art style, the guy who created the manga, was very distinct, man. Like, the way that he was able to make this colorful sort of ninja show. Because, you know, when you think of ninjas, you think of discreet and all black, and you can't only... But, bro, the main character wears a bright orange jumpsuit. Is it a jumpsuit? No, it's not a jumpsuit. It's a tracksuit, basically. And he made a show about ninjas like that. Like, the character designs for the first OG Naruto, before Shippuden, because Shippuden. So basically, what happens is when a guy's doing a manga, he has to publish it every week, and it's a lot of writing and a lot of drawing. So to make it easier on themselves, they take away little things to save up time because their editor needs that stuff basically by Saturday. Naruto used to have goggles. They changed from goggles to headbands because of that. During the war arc, the climactic final part of the series, everybody was basically wearing the same clothes except for the main two titular characters. Because it was easier for him to draw. But in the first series, Naruto, the character design so well thought of, and like I said, just so everything that you needed to know about their personality was kind of shown through their clothes. Naruto, this outgoing kid who loves to, talk with everybody and wants to be friends with people. He wears the bright orange suit that, you can't help but keep your eyes on. Sasuke, the cool, laid back emo guy wearing the dark blue clothes and the white shorts where he just kind of blends it into the background perfectly. You know what I'm saying? They called Might Guy the blue beast or the green beast of the leaf, and he had the all green training suit, bro. My man was swaggy before swaggy was even a thing. Other than the character designs, another thing that I love, bro, and I'm gonna take this second right now. Whoever's editing this video, put this song on. I don't care how you do it. You got to do it. You got to put on Sadness and Sorrow right now because the OST, aka sort of the score for this show, magnificent. Probably the best composed score in all of anime history, and dare I say, comparable to some like actual like TV. Well, what Westerners would call actual TV, like the whitewash stuff, like the thing you think of when you think of greatest shows, like Breaking Bad and stuff like that. Because man, when you hear these pianos playing in the background, you could feel the pain and the emotion. When there was like lapses in action and people wouldn't really do much, they'd either be like talking or, exposition stuff, like explaining the show through dialogue basically. It never took away from the show because it always had this like wild music that even though they were talking and basically explaining the plot to you in a very inconvenient way, it still felt so epic, man. The song whenever like the like that little ditty, bro, like again, I don't know what the names of a lot of these OSTs are. I only know the one because it's like legendary. But yeah, man, like the whole soundtrack is just absolutely fire, and everything just feels like the percussion in it, the strings, everything that was put together to create that soundtrack was fantastic. And like I said, man, Sadness and Sorrow was just one of those tracks that anytime that it was on the screen, it demanded your attention. It had a few tracks like that. For example, Orochimaru, which was the main villain of the first part, he had a terrific and like scary like instrumental that would play in the background. It had like these haunting organs that were basically telling you the danger was looming. And Pain, also a villain from the second part, had a terrific thing, what do I call it, theme song. There we go. I'm sorry, I'm kind of just going with this on the fly. I don't really have anything prepped. I'm kind of just talking at this point. But anyways, back to business. Yeah, so Pain also had this theme song, and it was because he thought of himself as a god, and it was like this godly like rapture like coming like theme song. Like it was just, again, everything sort of fits so well, and again, just like the outfits and the color schemes and all that, it fits so well into the characters. Sasuke's theme song, like everybody had one. The reason why I just like Sadness and Sorrow, I guess because the show was always fucking sad and miserable, but that song, like I said, it sticks with you because again, anytime an emotional like high point, it reaches like a fever pitch in the series, it starts playing, man. And those piano chords are so haunting, especially at the end. I've remade the instrumental, so like I said, I'm gonna let it play out a little bit. I'm gonna play out like the ending sort of beginningish part where the piano comes in because I don't have all the instruments equipped in FL Studios to make the full instrumental. But yeah, it has like this thing where the song, again, just like the show, kind of builds up to this emotional high point. And then finally, when it hits that, these pianos just absolutely dazzle you. Like I said, you know what? This is going to be the part right here. I'm going to shut up for a second, and we're going to let this song play. Bro, you cannot tell me that that song does not pull the inner sadness in your heart. You're probably thinking about all the trauma, all the unchecked emotions that you didn't even know you had. You probably remember the last time somebody told you that you're just like your father and your father sucks. And you didn't even realize that they meant it that way. But now you're sitting there crying, having an existential crisis, and dealing with the dread of emotions. But yeah, man, that's what this song does to me. Like, this is one of the greatest OSTs and greatest just soundtracks of all time, man. Like, when we're thinking of iconic pieces of writing, I'm definitely thinking of Star Wars theme, the Spider-Man theme, and I'm thinking of like Naruto Sadness and Sorrow. Because it just, again, bro, the way that the piano notes just slowly die out as you just have been left with the taste of bitterness and anguish in your mouth. It's just incredible, man. And like I said, bro, it's not just that OST, it's like the whole soundtrack could be like put in the National Museum of Art because it's so glorious. It's honestly, bro, honestly that OST, the album of the OST is probably just as good as 36 Chambers by the Wu-Tang Clan, and I will die on that hill. So go argue with your mama. Naruto OST, Naruto soundtrack, just as good as Wu-Tang Clan. Ghostface Killer should sample Sadness and Sorrow and make a sick track to it so that the nerds will have a field day. Because let me tell you something. The one thing that nerds love more than anything is anime and rap. And if those two things come together, like peanut butter and jelly, and I know I used that joke before, but I don't care, it will create perfect harmony within the world, and racism will finally end. So, Ghostface, if you want racism to end, go ahead and make the track. Oh man, sometimes I say things and my mouth just kind of goes and my brain doesn't register until after I said it. I cannot believe that I just said that. Ugh. Anyways, man. So yeah, Naruto has one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. And it also had some of the greatest like licensed opening theme songs. Like, bro, look up Silhouette from Naruto Shippuden, look up Bluebird opening, look up Fighting Team Dreamers or Fighting Team Dreamers. I don't know, but it's by Go. Or I think the song is called Flow, actually. The song is called Flow. So yeah, go check that out, because those songs are glorious, and those songs should be like part of your playlist. Like, sometimes when I'm in the car and I'm listening, I sometimes fade off into a world where I think I'm like a ninja and I'm running with my hands back like the ninjas do. And, you know, I could feel the breeze in my face as I'm running and I'm climbing up trees and I'm trying to, you know, figure out where to put the scroll. Like, yeah, man, it just takes you to another world. Especially that Silhouette song. Like, that Silhouette song is actually, like, really, really fire. And, like, one of the best songs I've ever listened to in my life. And I know that I keep saying that everything that I've heard is the greatest thing, but it's my list and it's subjective. And if you don't agree, well, that's on you. Oh, also, you know what Naruto has? Good memes. Naruto is a great template for memes. It's not as good as SpongeBob, because SpongeBob will remain forever as the greatest meme template show of all time. Like, anything. Any scene from SpongeBob you could turn into a meme. But yeah, man, Naruto also has some fire memes. Like right now, actually, my favorite meme that I am absolutely obsessed with is this guy on TikTok. His name is King Christian. And he's always on my Instagram feed because he dresses up as like these Naruto characters. And he has like this song playing in the background. And when the beat drops, he makes this like light skin face. And he calls it his swag face. So basically, for those of you who don't know, the light-skinned face was a thing done unironically, actually. Not like this guy who's doing it as a joke. Unironically in 2013 to 2014, where people thought that it was a good idea to raise your eyebrows, squint your eyes, and like bite your bottom lip. And sort of make it this like pose. And it was horrible because you looked like you couldn't see anything. Like, it literally looked like you were in the classroom, you were sitting all the way in the back, you forgot your glasses, and you were squinting to try to see what the teacher was writing, or you looked like you smelled a really bad fart. But that was like actually like the wave. And I will never forgive Drake and Justin Bieber for making that a thing, because Justin Bieber in 2013 was infamous for being not the Justin Bieber we know today, married and making songs about his wife, but a dude who was out here hanging out with rappers shirtless in the club, drag racing Lamborghinis, and making R&B albums about having sex with a bunch of different women. Yo, 2013 to 2014 Justin Bieber, they called him Justin Bieber Belly. The white Tupac, because he was so legendary. Like, my man was looking for that N-word pass so hard. I don't know if he got it. I don't know who's like in charge of giving out N-word passes. But yeah, man, like Justin Bieber was out here trying to be black on a level that I had never seen from like a white, like, because every white like little pop stars try to do this. Like, Justin Timberlake getting up with producer Timbaland to try to sound, a little bit more hip hop ish. But yeah, man, Justin Bieber just kind of like took it to a whole other level. Like, this dude was out here just being an absolute menace. And you know what? Because he wasn't black, he didn't get in any trouble for it. Anyway, that's my social commentary for the day. But yeah, man, I got off track. I think I was talking about a meme. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not really going to sit here and explain this meme. I'm actually probably just going to put the meme up here. But yo, the way that this dude lets the song play out and the way that it just like goes with everything that he's saying, it's just like glorious.
Drop the roof and let the smoke clear. I got diamonds doing tootsie slides in both ears. Dice rolling on the Las Vegas strip tonight. Slip that on and we might miss the fight.
So I recommend everybody go watch Naruto. It's on Netflix, Crunchyroll, and Hulu, so you have no excuse, because I know you have one of those streaming services. But yeah, man, really go take a look at Naruto. I think that it's a really great series written with a lot of heart, a lot of love, and it's something that, you could play in the background while you're doing anything, and there's moments that are going to pull you in, and you're going to feel the gut-wrenching emotion drawn out of you. I have not cried for a show or anime more than I have cried for Naruto. Like, I think almost every emotional high point of Naruto made me cry. Like, there is this one scene where Naruto, the titular character, so he's an orphan and he's born without parents. Bro, he talks to his mother. I cried for probably 30 minutes after that episode ending. Like, oh my god. It's such a wonderful series. I recommend you go watch it. And I think that is the end for me, because I don't think I have anything else to talk about. I really just want to talk about some sports in Naruto today. Actually, before we close out the show, on a more serious note, I'd actually like to take a second to, send my prayers to the family of Iwante Wright and everybody out there in Minnesota right now. I know that things are a little bit uneasy with the events that have happened in this past week. But, yeah, man, I'm not going to get too deep into the whole thing. I'll leave that for another day. But something's got to happen, because turning on the news or going on your phone and seeing that an unarmed person has been killed every other day by the police is not conducive to a well-run society, I guess. Like, employees of the state should not be killing people who are unarmed at any point. And the margin for error being that it's so small, the people who are in charge should try to maintain a standard that does not lead to mistakes where a cop says that they thought they grabbed the taser but ended up grabbing a gun. No whataboutisms in the comments, please, or whatever the case may be. It's not about arguing, and it's not about proving a point. It's about understanding that a loss of life is still a loss of life, regardless of what the context is. And when it's something that could be prevented, it needs to be. Also, rest in peace to Mrs. McLaughlin. Alyssa, thoughts and prayers with you. You're going to get through this, and, I'm always here if you need to talk. So, shout out to you. Anyways, that was the end of this podcast. I'm going to let the outro song play out. So, tell me what you think about it. All right. Thank you, and stay blessed.